we've seen you up here after all 4 games now, but your other teammates, there's been 4 different teammates coming up here for the 4 games of this series.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to why that is significant to what you guys want to accomplish?
I think it's very important to point out that the communication that we have amongst each other is that it could be anybody's night. We just have to stay steady. We have a great guide of plays that we want to run, that work. We have guys that want to make plays, and when you put the ball in their hands and they're able to do that, we're pretty successful. And obviously, I'm looking at Al's shot attempts tonight. He was 4 for 19. That is not very often you see Al shoot 19 shots, but that was just part of the aggression and managing the game. He had to shoot those, being very aggressive. But I knew that there was going to be a spark off the bench tonight that was much needed. They were throwing multiple bodies at me, making sure that the ball was out of my hands and making other guys beat us. And that person was Gordon Hayward. This is his city. This is where he's from, and I'm glad that he had a chance to put on a performance like that in the closeout game. That really means something to him. And but as a group, I felt like we really battled with the Pacers very well. They did a great job of putting us in some situations where it tested us. Down by 10, down by 14 at one point. Up in the beginning of the first quarter like we always have, and them just coming back and making runs. And we had just had a lot of great experience plays that really are going to matter as we continue to go on this playoff run. So I'm just happy that a lot of guys on this team got to experience what a sweep feels like, and now we get to rest for a few days and lock into the winner of Milwaukee, Detroit. So.
John Corrales, MassLive.com. Obviously, nobody can make up for Marcus Smart, but Terry Rozier is giving you guys some good defensive minutes. What did you see from Terry out there in the series?
He's just coming, just being very mature about what he's doing with his minutes, picking up the basketball, being very communicative on middle pick and rolls, being in the right spots, and then more importantly, just taking the shots when they're coming to him, in rhythm, knocking down big timely shots when bigs are switching on him, making great decisions, and just doing the things what it takes to win a tough ball game. He showed that.
Kyrie, Rebecca, and TNT, 2 questions for you, but you're talking about how great it was to have such a deep bench tonight. But when you specifically look at the physicality that it requires to make a deep run in these playoffs, how much does that help that you've got a lot of guys who can back you up?
It definitely helps. It puts an even higher level of confidence in myself to go out there and do what I do, but also when I'm making plays and I'm being very aggressive and getting to the rim, I know that they're going to follow right along with that. And it starts on, obviously in the defensive end for us, picking up the basketball, making sure we're in the right spots, making sure we're communicating on both sides, and then offensively just taking great shots. Just doing that more consistently. But I think that for us, it's just the maturity down the stretch. Being able to trust one another with the pass, being able to make plays and trust that the other guy's going to see you if you're open, but if not, then the next play needs to be made on a rebound or a tip-in or something like that. So it's just the next play mentality, which has helped us.
You get the sweep, and that's great, but overall, knowing how competitive you are, how satisfied are you with the product that you brought to these 4 games, and is there anything that you feel like this team needs to clean up moving forward?
Well, good thing I enjoy series. They're really a test of who wants it more, but more importantly, who's going to be smarter down the stretch and who's really going to will themselves, when things aren't going their way and just stay in the course. We have Indiana, we identified them as an individual team, individual tendencies, and now we move forward to whoever we're playing next, and we do the same thing. It's just you hit the restart button. You can't take, you can obviously take some momentum going into it, be proud of the performance you put on, but a week later, it doesn't even matter. So you got to prove it once again. You got to prove why you were successful last series. You got to prove, how ready you are for that next step, because it's closer and closer to, a goal that other teams are trying to get as well. So it's just a sense of maturity, but I think that for these guys on this team, they enjoy it for the first few days, and then we go back to practice and get back locked in. So that's the great thing about a sweep, though. You get to go back and get some days off and reset.
Mark Murphy, Boston Herald. Kyrie, all of the trapping and blitzing that you're facing every game, how how much better are the guys reading you and getting to the right spots?
They're doing a tremendous job of really just making those next second side plays and being aggressive and not being afraid to make a play for someone else as well. You just got to keep giving them that confidence. Obviously, I know how great I am with the ball, but we're even more special as a team when I'm being aggressive and then I'm getting off the ball and they're making great decisions as well. So as you can see, it's not really about the amount of shots, it's just the quality of shots that we're taking. And then as long as we're getting back on defense, making sure we're defending, doing the right things, basketball management will always balance out one way or another. Just stay close in the game, manage it pretty well, and then at the end of the game, run a steady diet of what has worked.
Joseph Pavone, WEI and CLNS Media. Kyrie seemed a little banged up in the first half. How are you doing from a health standpoint? I know it's a very physical series, it's a very physical team. How are you doing in terms of what happened in that first half? Like you took a tough screen.
Yeah, man, it's the playoffs.
Is it good?
Yeah. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm hurting. So, just reset, get a few days off, do the best you can to recover, get back to it.
Gary Washington, Boston Globe. It seemed like it was kind of the opposite of normal teams when the playoffs hit. It seemed like there's some pressure taken off you guys, and it just seems like you guys are more looser, more together. Would you sense that? You sense kind of a collective effort, the togetherness you've been looking for all season?
Yeah, there's a goal at hand. There's another level you have to take your game to, the mentality, obviously the IQ standpoint. But I just think that from a preparation standpoint, preparing for one team has given us a benefit. It's given us just an identity of going out and just executing a certain game plan. And this was our first test against the Pacers. So now we have to carry that on to the next series. But it's exciting to know that when the pressure, quote unquote, gets high, or you're asked to be challenged in a certain situation, that you have guys that can respond to that and respond pretty well. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be the way that you expect it to be individually, but as long as we stay together as a team, I think that whatever result it is, it's just more manageable when everyone's together than just apart. So I'm happy about that we're all just diving into it, kind of having a blind faith in each other, and just go out there and just be great.
Tim Bontis from ESPN. When you came to Boston, Kyrie, it was going to be you and Gordon as kind of the leaders of the team. Obviously, you got hurt last year. It's been a process for him to get back to this point, but have a 20-point game here to help close out the series. How much different are you guys when you have him playing at the level he's been at here the last couple months?
Well, we're special regardless. We're playing really well, but I think that when individuals on our team really step their game up even more and they're making shots, then we're even more deadly. So Gordon being aggressive and making shots and making timely stops, and it's not just on offense either. I mean, defensively, he's in the right spots. He had 2 steals tonight, a block shot. That's impacting the game. And you just want guys that are ready to go out there and give you the effort that you would desire from yourself, and they're giving it to you. They're looking you in the eyes, and you know how hard winning a basketball game in the playoffs is. It's just settling for all of us to know that we all have that type of attitude towards each other. Just go out there and manage the game, and then go out and finish.
Final question, Adam.
Adam Hensbach with the Boston Globe. You're obviously on top of the East for a while. This year, these top teams have gotten a lot of attention. That seems to have been improved and built up. What have you seen, I guess, from the top of the conference this year, and how much are you kind of looking forward to seeing these teams?
I mean, honestly, I'm not really paying attention to who was the top team in the conference during the regular season. Those wins are racked up already. Those are pretty set. I think at this point, it's really about who could beat the team in seven games, in 7-game series. Like I said before as well, just the reset button. We know what to expect. We have played against Detroit and Milwaukee pretty often throughout the regular season, up and down with those guys. But now you get a chance to prepare, and now everyone knows each other's plays, and now it's just about playing great brand basketball.
Thanks, Kyrie. Thanks.